Live from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Hi, good morning. Happy Tuesday. It is August 17th.
We begin today with a longtime fixture in the city of New Braunfels. There's also one in Galveston. We're talking about Schlitterbahn. It's actually owned by an Ohio-based company, and we are now reporting on KSAT.com that those owners are dumping big cash into their parks in the coming year. Yeah, a lot of money there. So it's Cedar Fair Entertainment Company, which operates Schlitterbahn, like Mark said. They are looking to plan to spend as much as $200 million on its properties for the 2022 season. They not only own Schlitterbahn, they own nearly a dozen more theme parks. It's a hefty investment given the Ohio-based company's most recent financial performance, but an infusion that could draw more business back to its parks. So the CEO said the decision to make the significant capital investment was based on positive recent trends and our renewed confidence in the recovery of the business. So here's what they're planning. Improvements would focus on infrastructure and aesthetics throughout both parks, including upgraded food venues and even attractions. They say that this will complement Schlitterbahn's unique character. Cedar Fair signed a definitive agreement to acquire Schlitterbahn Resort in New Braunfels, the water park and the resort, and Schlitterbahn Water Park Galveston back in 2019, agreeing to pay more than $260 million for those two properties. That may have kind of happened under the radar there as we were in the midst of the pandemic back. Well, actually, that was pre-pandemic. That was 2019. But right big before. Money for those properties. Nice to know that they're making some additions and improvements. Yeah, it'll be good to see some changes, especially because it gets so hot here pretty much all the time, kind of like today. For August. Yes. Speaking of, let's go outside with live cam, warming up as usual, pretty much on par for the weather we've seen over the past couple of days. Although, Justin, we did have a few more of those random showers and storms in the area yesterday afternoon.
They popped up yesterday, and one thing that's interesting about today is we're seeing a nice complex of showers and storms just to our north. That will play a role in our forecast today, and we'll take a look at that in just a second. First, let's go outside. 80 degrees at the airport. Dew point is at 75. That's miserable with southerly winds at about 10 miles per hour. There's going to be a lot of humidity today. Forecast calls for a high right around 94. Rain chances are going to be about 30%, just like they were yesterday, at least here in San Antonio. I mentioned some of that heavier rain off to our north and west. Look at San Angelo getting drenched now. Flash flood warnings underway up there as the heavy rain pushes east, and there are some lightning strikes associated with that. We're seeing some of that leak down into the hill country, and I think today there will be a little better chance for some rain if you're up around Rock Springs or Fredericksburg, maybe Kerrville, maybe a 40% shot versus the 30% chance here in San Antonio, just because you're closer to that complex of showers and storms. Temperature-wise, we're in the 80s here in town with 70s in the hill country where the cloud cover is a little thicker, 76 Kerrville, 76 in Bandera. Forecast for today, temperatures make it up to around 94, as we mentioned. Southeasterly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. We'll keep rain chances going into tonight. Looks like some of that rain could stick around even into the overnight hours. We'll have more on that, plus an update on the tropical forecast here in just a couple minutes, guys.
Sounds good. Thank you, Justin. Taking a look outside with TransGuide this morning. There's a look at I-37 at Hackberry and I-37 at Houston. Things are moving.
As school begins for children across our area, being up to date in their vaccination, super important part of their back to school list. And for many, the COVID-19 vaccine is not available yet, but doctors say there are other vaccines that are just as important. For more details, we turn to Max Massey, who is live at UT Health San Antonio. Good morning, Max.
Good morning, guys. We're going to talk about those other vaccinations for back to school in just a moment, but we're joined here with Dr. Schwab. And Dr. Schwab, you were telling me that your clinics have been super busy, including kids with COVID.
That's exactly right. We're busy in August anyway because it's back to school time, so we're doing vaccines, well child exams, sports participation clearance. But on top of that, we've had a spike in the COVID cases. And then even more so, we've seen diseases that we usually don't see till October. They're spiking in August, like hand, foot, and mouth, strep throat, and even fist disease. It goes on, and RSV in particular.
Now, Mark and Stephanie were just talking about the vaccinations that parents need to get the kids before they head back to school. What are some of those vaccines, and how can people learn about them?
All right, well, you can find out about them on the CDC website. They have a parent-friendly schedule that's easy to read. you can call your primary care provider and they'll tell you what your child needs. But in particular, the 7th graders need vaccines and the preschoolers.
Okay, now we know a lot of parents are a little hesitant. We're back to school. The mask's still up in the air. What are some of the symptoms that parents should watch out for their kids? We know under 12 years old, they can't get the vaccine yet.
Right. Well, for anything, COVID or not, when you start seeing fever, you want to monitor that. Runny nose, cough, and COVID in kids sometimes is tricky. It might present as a stomach ache or diarrhea. So any symptoms that you have concern about, call your primary care provider and they will provide direction on what can be monitored at home and then what needs to be seen in the office.
Okay, now in terms of those symptoms, in contrast between kids and adults, how do they compare?
So luckily, the kids overall tend to do much better, and they can usually be treated at home and just monitored and treating the symptoms only. So pediatrics are fortunate in that way.
Good. Now, you alluded to the other diseases that parents should be on the lookout for. One of those, RSV. So guys, we've been told there's a big increase in RSV lately. So we're going to explain what parents need to know and everything you need to know coming up at 9:30. We'll check back in with you then.
All right. Thank you, Max.
It's time for a look at today's 9 at 9. In the latest back and forth court battle between Bexar County and Governor Greg Abbott, the mask mandate is back in place for public schools. The order likely to be appealed by Governor Abbott again. The mask mandate on public schools and city employees will remain in effect until the trial is scheduled, unless higher courts reverse the decision before then.
News that is likely to resonate with most Americans. President Biden and federal health officials are expected to recommend COVID-19 booster shots for everyone over the age of 12. Officials say the booster is recommended 8 months after the second shot. The official announcement is expected this week.
The Taliban declared an amnesty across Afghanistan and urged women to join their government this morning. The announcement coming just a day after President Biden defended his decision to pull U.S. troops from the country after a 20-year war.
The National Hurricane Center has upgraded Grace to a tropical storm again. The storm has sustained winds of 40 miles per hour. Meanwhile, Tropical Depression Fred is weakening as it dumps multiple inches of rain on Georgia.
Some Haitians are still waiting for medical treatment after the worst earthquake to hit the island nation since 2010. Aid struggling to reach the most affected areas as some roads are impassable. At least 1,400 people have died and thousands of people were injured.
New Zealand is going into a 3-day lockdown after reporting its first COVID-19 case since February. New Zealand has one of the lowest rates of coronavirus infection among developed nations. Only 26 people out of the population of 5 million have died since the start of the pandemic.
The National Park Service announcing new mask rules requiring all visitors and employees to wear a mask when inside park buildings or crowded outdoor areas. The rule applies regardless of vaccination status.
A new lawsuit accuses singer-songwriter Bob Dylan of sexually abusing a 12-year-old girl in 1965 when he was 23 years old. The woman, identified only as JC, is now 68. She's seeking damages and a jury trial. Dylan says the claims are untrue and will be vigorously defended.
The Atlanta Falcons are the first NFL team to have its entire roster vaccinated against COVID-19. The NFL said as of last week, nearly 92% of the league has had at least one dose. And that's today's 9 at 9.
And other top stories we are following today. A man is in the hospital with a story to tell about what had to be a frightening train ride. San Antonio firefighters say they found him dangling from the train by his foot.
Yeah, police found him on the northeast side in the Kirby area near FM 78 and Buzz Aldrin. They say he probably rode like that for about 15 miles before finally getting help. Authorities believe he was among a group of stowaways who tried to get off the train near Quintana Road. Firefighters say his friend called 911 for help around 1:30 this morning.
With help from police, they began searching that area on the southwest side, looking for the man. A short time later, they got a separate call about a person trapped on a train on FM 78.
Well, that's when they put 2 and 2 together and realized it was the same man. Excuse me. Firefighters had to use a special tool to open the train's door so that they could get him unstuck. He was taken to a hospital for treatment with only minor injuries. San Antonio police left with a lot of questions after an early morning shooting on the east side.
Right now, it's not clear where it happened, but police say the victim ended up in the 5000 block of Stoneleigh Drive. That's near 410 and Rigsby Avenue. We are told the victim was in his vehicle when he was shot through the window. He was taken to the hospital. A woman in the vehicle was cut by some of the glass from that window. She was treated at the scene.
You probably got a blue alert on your phone last night, according to Wichita Fall Crime Stoppers, in regard to attempted capital murder of a peace officer up in Clay County.
That's an area east of Wichita Falls and northwest of Dallas-Fort Worth. Crime Stoppers say a Clay County deputy was shot at a truck stop around 7:30 last night. The suspect got away. Last seen wearing a blue ball cap, his four-door Cadillac, Texas license plate FXJ 1334. Police say it should have multiple bullet holes in the back window and trunk. If you have information, call the Wichita County Crime Stoppers. Numbers in that yellow banner, kind of lower third of your screen. That's 1-800-322-9888. The good news is I understand that officer was wearing a vest and is going to be okay. And time now is 9:08 and about 79 degrees right now. Court battle over masks between Bexar County Governor Abbott. Not over yet. A recap of what happened yesterday and look ahead what could happen next. Next, chaos at a public forum in Louisiana. The topic, face masks. What police say happened there. In your morning headlines, a meeting on mask mandates gets very heated. Some folks walked out and a dog attacked by a gator. And another moose is loose in a backyard, creating some funny moments. David Sears is here to create moments of his own.
Thank God we've got moose, because when the bears don't show up, we got to have something.
Yeah. We do have to have something. It's only Tuesday.
The moose come through. We'll have that for you just a second. But first, let's take it to Baton Rouge State Capitol. Things got heated. Security trying to carry this woman out of the House Committee on Health and Welfare meeting. Actually dropped her. Another woman not wearing a mask asked to leave as well. While that was going on, they managed to haul that first woman out the door. Lawmakers asked people to wear a mask. Some refused. Security guard tried to put a hand on a woman you'll see coming up in just a second. Right there. She wasn't going to have anything to do with that. She stared him down as she yanked her mask off and walked out the door. For a while, it was just a constant parade. You'll see another woman get up, walk out. Then another woman follows her out the door. The meeting was about mask mandates and in-class learning. Parents sounded off, and then the state health officer also gave his opinion.
The governor mandated to put this on my kid's face for 7 hours a day. It's child abuse. It's not right. I believe in natural immunity, and everyone has to build natural immunity. And masking is not helping that.
I think a school district that did not proceed with their students and teachers masked would have massive outbreaks and have to have big disruptions in their education.
No resolution by the lawmakers as of yet. All right, let's take it to Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. That is Bruce Savage and his dog Hannah. Hannah no longer has a tail, and Bruce has a lot of cuts on his legs, all thanks to this big guy you're going to see here in just a second. Big old huge alligator. Yeah. Bruce and Hannah were going for a walk around the neighborhood pond Sunday when the gator attacked. Bruce looked around, had a leash, but no dog. He managed to wrestle Hannah away from the gator. The gator got Hannah's tail, and Bruce got all cut up from the gravel when he was fighting the gator. He said he was in the wrong place at the wrong time. After he got his dog, he just took off.
My kids asked me, well, did you look back? I was like, heck no, I didn't look back. I was running as fast as I could to get away.
I didn't want to see that gator again. He said he was traumatized for the most of the day. A rep from the Department of Natural Resources said the gators don't usually attack this time of year, usually do it in the spring, but since so many more people are moving into their habitat, they recommend staying at least 10 feet from the water. Bruce says he's just going to avoid the pond altogether. And finally, thought you might enjoy a little comic relief from a moose. Yeah, a big moose. Yeah, this moose lives in Anchorage, Alaska. Wandered into the backyard of the house, noticed the security camera, decided to check it out. Not really a big deal. Moose in neighborhoods, pretty common in Anchorage. Matter of fact, the Alaska Department, there he goes. The Alaska Department of Fish and Game estimate there are about 350 moose living in Anchorage. So you know Friday night the Moose Lodge is full. Oh, they're having a lot of fun.
Probably is.
At the Moose Lodge there in Anchorage.
Wouldn't doorbell cam notifications with featuring moose be pretty common in Alaska?
Yeah.
I'm sure.
I think, right?
Just looking like kind of like armadillos and possum
Down
for us.
here.
Yeah, so.
Down here.
Those are much bigger, though.
Just another moose.
Down here in the lower part of the lower 48.
When did they start naming the moose?
Oh, I'm sure some families have done that.
That didn't look like Bullwinkle, did it?
No.
But thank you, David. Right now, we are going to check in with meteorologist Justin Horn, and we were all just remarking, Justin, turn around. There's actually rain on radar behind you there.
Yes.
Yeah.
He knew.
Not here, though. Not here. That's the catch. We've got some pretty good heavy rain up there around the San Angelo area. So if you're going to be headed north, keep that in mind. That's where a lot of the heavy rain will be today. I wish I would tell you that some of this is going to move south and we'll get some of this. It's just not looking that way. I do think we'll get some pop-up showers and storms. And certainly areas in the hill country have a little better chance at getting some showers today. Already seen some around Rock Springs. But the bulk of the flooding rainfall is going to be anywhere from Midland over to San Angelo, especially over the next couple of hours. Let's look a little closer at the hill country here, and you can see Rock Springs is seeing a light shower coming through. This is moving north and east. A few more showers in Valverde County as well. Not much here around San Antonio. We just have some cloud cover. And the clouds are going to be fairly thick today, so that will help keep temperatures from just, jumping up into the mid to upper 90s. I think they'll stay maybe in the lower 90s. But as far as rainfall goes, this is around 5 o'clock. Just doesn't show much around here. We see some showers and storms north and then maybe some activity out west. And I do want to watch what happens tonight because we could get some of this activity working back into the hill country overnight. And some of that could work towards San Antonio. So that will be what we'll keep an eye on tonight and into early tomorrow morning. The risk for flooding rainfall, there's a marginal risk across the hill country, those areas that we showed you where there could be a little bit of rain today. As for San Antonio, 30% chance of rain. Temperatures up around 94 this afternoon. And outside right now, we're looking at 80. Southerly winds at 10. Feels like 85 thanks to a dew point of 75. Those dew points are way up there. 76 in Uvalde right now, 84 in Del Rio, 82 Pleasanton, 83 in Cotulla, and some 70s there in the hill country. Forecast heat index today, we also need to pass this along because it will still be very steamy. 99 is what it may feel like this afternoon. And there will be some heat indices that jump up above 100, I think, down to the south. So we've got this little complex of showers and storms, weather maker there in West Texas. And then we have Fred. This is Tropical Depression Fred now, but tornado watch boxes because oftentimes when you get these spins like Tropical Depression here, you can pick up some tornadoes, and that's what we're seeing. That will continue to move north. Fred will move away, bringing heavy rain as it does. We've also got Henri out in the Atlantic. This will affect Bermuda, at least bring some higher surf there. And then we've got Tropical Storm Grace, which is looking, by the way, a little bit better as we look at the satellite picture here. Starting to see some deeper thunderstorm activity right over the center as it moves towards Jamaica. Winds right now at 45 miles per hour, gusting to 50. It's moving west at about 16 miles per hour. Should move towards Cancun by, I'd say, early Thursday morning, and then by the weekend, it's making landfall somewhere in Mexico, we think, maybe near Tampico. And this is going to stay well south of Texas. It may throw some clouds in our direction this weekend, but I really don't think we get much from it. It'll continue to move across Mexico and bring heavy rain there. So here's what our extended forecast looks like. 30% chance of rain today. Best chances, again, off to the north and west. We'll leave some chances in tonight for any of that activity that comes in from the west, and a few more chances tomorrow. Just a 20% shot on Thursday, and then the sun pops out and we get some warmer numbers, mid-90s to even maybe upper 90s as we head into early next week, guys.
Well, it's nice to have some chance out there.
Yes, at least there's been a little bit of rain to cool us down each and every day.
That's true. Thanks, Justin.
Just about 9:20 and about 80 degrees.
And still ahead on GMSA at 9 with more job openings than ever before. More teenagers are getting first-time jobs. And after the break, details on how parents can help their teens protect their money.
Many teenagers are getting after-school jobs as the fall semester begins, but what they may not know is that taxes can sometimes take a good chunk out of their first paycheck.
In today's Money It's Personal, Ivan Herrera has some tips that could make it easier for parents to explain pay stubs to their newly employed teens.
After-school jobs can be a great way for teens to earn some cash during the fall and spring semesters. But what many of them may not be aware of is that every paycheck will have a little less money than they may have expected. That's because federal taxes are taken out every pay period. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau is offering parents some tips to help them explain to their teens how to read a pay stub. First, explain to your teen the difference between gross pay, the amount before taxes are taken out, and net pay, the amount you take home. Next, discuss the W-4 form your child will be filling out at their first job. This form determines the amount of taxes that are taken out every paycheck. Parents can also explain to their child the things taxes pay for, like schools, roads, medical help for the elderly, and many other government programs. Finally, go through your teen's paycheck together line by line to figure out what is being deducted and where that tax money goes. For this week's Money It's Personal, I'm Ivan Herrera, KSAT 12 News.
And there's a lot more ahead on GMSA at 9.
What's next in the battle over masks between Bexar County and the governor? Eric Hernandez has details after the break. Plus.
All right, guys, and we're live at Animal Care Services to tell you guys about a big pet adoption event taking place throughout the week. Check out these guys. They're going to be joining us out here, Billy and Butch. And we're going to be talking more about this event and maybe where you could find a new four-legged friend, family member to take home. We'll be back right after the break.
Welcome back to GMSA at 9. The courts may be closed to in-person jury trials again, but that doesn't mean it's less busy.
Eric Hernandez, our court reporter, joins us now to talk about the mask mandate lawsuit and a ruling on another one of the governor's executive orders. Hey, good morning, Erica.
Hey, guys. Good morning.
Well, Erica, going to the mask mandate lawsuit has been back and forth, and so there's been a legal battle. Can you explain where we're at this point?
Yeah, there's a lot of back and forth, but I want to start from the beginning. We kind of have a timeline we want to show you first. So this all started in June 5th. An executive order issued by Abbott went into effect prohibiting counties, cities, school districts, public health authorities, or government officials from requiring or mandating mask wearing. Then we go to July 27th. He issued another executive order that further removed local government's abilities to enact policies. Now, August 10th, which was last week, a Bexar County District Court judge, which was Judge Antonia Arteaga, issued a temporary restraining order against Abbott's executive order. Then we go to the 15th of August, which was on Sunday. The Texas Supreme Court ruled in favor of Governor Abbott and Attorney General Ken Paxton's executive order temporarily banning mask mandates in Bexar and Dallas counties. Now, yesterday, we have the 57th Civil District Court Judge Tony Arteaga again ruling in favor of the county, which means that the county's mask mandates remain in place right now.
What were some of the key takeaways from yesterday's hearing? I know we weren't able to record it.
Yeah, so there was several key takeaways that were from the witnesses. One in particular was Dr. Junda Wu, who is from Metro Health. Now, she made a comment that kind of stuck with me throughout the day yesterday. She said, quote, "I'm worried we will break the health care system because of what is currently going on in Bexar County, which there is shortage of hospital staff." She says that any day these hospitals are already dealing with so much. The nurses are being stretched thin. As from the city strain, City Manager Eric Walsh said 164 city employees have COVID and 6 of them are hospitalized. As far as the county strain, we look at the jail staff. Of the jail staff, 48 have COVID, as do 100 inmates. So it was something that we're seeing countywide as it being a problem right now.
And what's next for the mask mandate lawsuit?
Well, it's going to go, we anticipate it to go back and forth again. There's a permanency hearing that will most likely take place in the coming weeks, but I expect it to also go through the appeals process again, which means it can go back to the Texas Supreme Court and it could be reversed again.
Now to the other COVID-related executive order. Can you tell us what that was about? I guess it's called GA-13. Okay.
Yeah, so this had to do with an executive order that the governor put into place last year. It was regarding jail releases in all of the state because of COVID. It was a big issue at the time last March when he put it into place. Now, let's fast forward to June, where a hearing was held in Judge Ronhel's courtroom because a woman was supposed to be released in May, but the Sheriff Salazar could not release her because of that order. because she had good behavior. She was supposed to be out, but she was still in jail, which her attorney thought was unfair at the time. At that moment, Judge Rahel issued a $1 bond, so she could be released. He was then going to rule on GA13, which he finally did yesterday, and he ruled it unconstitutional.
And can that ruling by Judge Rahel be challenged?
Of course it can. All these rulings can be challenged. The same as the mask mandate, I anticipate an appeal could be filed. We could go through the appeals court and then lead off to the Texas Supreme Court after that to be, again, reversed or not if they so decide to. Now, we're going to have more on that particular story later today, as we will interview Judge Rahel this morning to talk about his ruling and see if Sheriff Salazar will comment about it and how it's going to to the jail population going forward.
The confusion continues.
Yes.
We're only
It's
just
a
getting
lot.
started. Erica Hernandez, thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. And taking a look outside with live cam this morning, we are hitting 80 degrees. Still not too bad yet.
Not yet. It's going to be another warm day. What we are watching are some showers and storms just to our north and west. There's a really nice complex of rain. I wish we were seeing some of it, but it's staying just to our north. Around San Angelo this morning. Let's look at the radar, and you can see where it is. Good cluster there. There are flash flood warnings in effect there. So you have plans to travel out there across the Concho Valley or out to West Texas. Know that it will be very rainy. This rain is sort of leaking down into the Edwards County area, also into Valverde County, but we're just not seeing a whole lot here. We don't expect really a whole lot here in San Antonio today. Maybe a few pop-up showers and storms. Pollen count, mold is down from yesterday, but still in the high category, 1,670. So heads up there. It should continue to work its way downward. Forecast calls for 20% chance of rain noontime through about 3 o'clock. We'll get those temperatures up to close to 94. 30% chance of rain late this afternoon and this evening. And we'll have some chances overnight, too, of some showers and storms maybe coming in from the west. We'll keep an eye on that. After that, though, rain chances really start to wind down. Another look at the 7-day forecast is coming up here in just a few minutes, guys.
Thank you, Justin. Let's check on TransGuide right now. 410 at Jackson Keller. Smooth going right there in both directions. 410 at Broadway. No problems to report out there by the airport either.
An emergency adoption event is going on at Animal Care Services here in San Antonio.
RJ Marquez live with more on the event, how you can bring home a new furry family member. Good morning, RJ.
Good morning, Mark and Stephanie. Yeah, I've made a couple of friends since I've gotten here. Check out, this is Butch right here. He's pretty excited to be outside, just hanging out with us this morning on Good Morning San Antonio. Say hi to all the viewers out there. Butch has been running around like crazy since he was able to get out this morning. And on the other side here, we have Billy in the blue. And yeah, guys, we're out here at ACS talking about this emergency adoption event that's taking place through the rest of this week. Lisa Norwood, she is with ACS. She's the public relations manager here. Always does a great job putting together these events. Lisa, just talk to us, tell our viewers about why you guys are having this event throughout this week.
Yeah, absolutely. So, every summer is overflow season at Animal Care Services. That's when we see the most amount of animals coming in. And we did really good during COVID. Most of the pandemic, we had a lot of adoptions going, but it's been something of a boomerang. And that boomerang has come right back. And so now we've had even more animals than usual come into the shelter. So what does that mean? That means we need to find homes for a lot more animals than we were expecting to. And a lot of times the guys that get overlooked are the larger guys.
Yes.
Like Butch and Billy. They're the adult cats. A lot of times people come in and they think, I want a kitten, I want a puppy, not realizing that we have so many adult dogs, so many larger dogs, so many senior dogs, and adult cats that are in need. So this is a really good opportunity for folks to get not only a really great pet, but a really great deal on their adoption fee.
Yeah, let's talk about that real quick because you guys have reduced prices. We were looking at this earlier. It's pretty good prices in order to get a new family member, a four-legged friend, into your home. Talk a little bit about that.
Absolutely. So we're talking about $25 for larger dogs, like Butch and Billy here, for senior dogs, dogs that are over 7 years old. And then adult cats as well. Adult cats are only a $5 adoption
Wow.
fee.
Yeah. And of course, with senior dogs, they're usually a little bit more calm, right? Is that kind of the general idea?
A little bit more sedate. If you're looking for somebody that's going to crash on the couch with you, really good option. But you know, larger dogs, really good option too. Now, of course, they take up a little bit more room on the couch, but they're real good cuddle buddies as well. And as you saw from earlier, Butch and Billy, really cool guys.
Yeah.
Really want to just hang out and play. And would make really, really good companions for somebody.
Yeah, they have been great. I mean, obviously a little bit more energetic because these guys are a little bit younger, but they've been really great and they've been awesome.
For a young, energetic family, maybe a family that has older kids that can keep up with these guys. They do have a lot of energy, want to play all the time, love the cookies. So these are guys
who doesn't love the cookies,
right? Who doesn't love the cookies? Exactly. These are guys that would make a perfect home.
Yeah, and just to let our viewers know, all of these pets here that are adopted are microchipped. They're vaccinated, and so they have their shots.
Absolutely, they do. That's something that we include every. I know. That's something that we include every single time that we do an adoption.
Right.
Want to make sure that not only do they have their first vaccinations, but also get their microchip as well.
All right. Hey, check out Butch. I think I'm ready to take Butch home with me as we speak. Guys, this adoption event runs through the rest of this week. You can check out the Animal Care Services website for more information. And Butch is, look, I think he's doing a little bit of posing for the camera here.
A little bit. He's something of a supermodel.
Absolutely.
All
right,
home.
Mark and Stephanie, back to you guys.
Oh, that's awesome.
He is. Look at him. He's got a little bandana and everything.
He likes you.
Butch and Billy.
He does. I'm going to have to talk to my wife about taking him home.
All right, cool. Keep us posted, RJ. RJ Marquez over at Animal Care Services. Again, look them up on the web. You can also call them at 207. That's number 4PET, 207-4738.
And that adoption event is going on all week. Right now, it's 9:38 and about 80 degrees.
Max?
Good morning, guys. Yes, we are here at the local pediatric clinic. It's calm and quiet here now, but they have been busy not only with COVID in kids, but also other diseases like RSV. We're going to explain what that means and what parents need to know right after the break.
942 UT Health San Antonio pediatrics clinics have been busy with the recent spike in COVID cases in children, but doctors say other illnesses are also putting a strain on the health system.
As students head back to school, health officials are reminding parents to keep their children up to date on their vaccines. Max Massey is live at UT Health San Antonio. And Max, what should parents know about RSV?
All right, guys, what they should know is that RSV has been spiking recently. We're joined here with Dr. Schwab. So right off the bat, I had never heard of RSV before this year. What is it? What should parents know about it?
Well, it's an upper respiratory infection. To an adult who has it, they may think they just have a cold. But when a child catches it, especially if they're an infant or toddler, it tends to settle in their chest and it can lead to wheezing and even respiratory distress.
You guys are seeing a recent spike. How does this compare this time period to last year?
Well, the timeline's different. Generally, we start seeing cases in October and throughout the winter into late spring. This year, we started seeing it in April, and the numbers have just increased.
How many kids do you think you guys are seeing?
We're seeing kids almost daily who have RSV, and definitely some are being admitted. Most, though, can be treated at home. We just treat the symptoms, a lot of nasal suctioning, giving them fluids, giving them fever reducer if they need it.
Are there any long-term side effects, long-term impact of this?
Most kids will have a full recovery. There are a few who will have some lingering symptoms for a few months, even a year or two, where they may have episodes of wheezing that come and go.
All right, if any parent watching this right now is worried that their kid has RSV, what should they do?
They should call their healthcare provider. There is a quick test that can be done in the office, and you'll know if they have RSV within 10 or 15 minutes. They also can have their lungs listened to make sure there is no wheezing, and then they'll get further direction on how to care for their child.
And you guys say you usually see this in the winter? Mm-hmm. So what does the next winter look like?
So we don't know. We're a little worried, so we're just trying to be prepared in case the numbers continue to go up.
Okay, perfect. Dr. Schwab, thank you so much for your time. If you guys have any questions about RSV or anything we talked about this morning, we have all those answers. Just head to KSAT.com. Guys, back to you.
All right. Thank you, Max.
Justin joined us now, looking back in weather history 4 years ago on this date.
Hard to imagine, but it was 4 years ago on this day that what would become Harvey developed in the Atlantic. It was Tropical Depression number 9. At the time, we had no idea that it would cross the Yucatan and basically become a major hurricane. It did become a major hurricane as it hit Texas. So let's look back here. It developed on this day back in 2017 out there in the Atlantic. And then eventually it would work its way up towards Texas, as we know. Looks like the path isn't on there right now, but it would come right across the Yucatan, weaken quite a bit, and then eventually re-strengthen and work its way towards Texas. But that was back in 2017. It would take a week for all that to happen, but pretty incredible stuff. Okay, let's flash forward to the now, and we've got showers and storms right around San Angelo. That's where most of the rain has been this morning, and that's where most of it's going to stay, unfortunately, through the day today. We may see a little bit of it here in the Hill Country, a little better chance for some rain. We're already seeing some showers, but as far as San Antonio is concerned, just some pop-up stuff for us today. You see some of the showers at work through Rock Springs, still getting some decent rain there in parts of Valverde County as well. And we're also noticing a few showers developing along the coast. We saw that yesterday with the sea breeze. So there are some chances for rain today, but just not as good here as they are to our north. Looking at the forecast, it does show some isolated showers and storms into the afternoon, with the bulk of it being up here around Junction, Ozona, maybe out in Valverde County. I still think there's enough moisture and with some heating, depending on if the high clouds stay in place, that we still could get some isolated showers and storms. And then we need to watch what happens tonight, because if we can get some of those storms to consolidate out west, some of those could move in overnight tonight into early tomorrow morning. That's a possibility too. There is a marginal risk for some flooding rainfall today across the Hill Country. We do want to pass that along. Anything that develops is going to be very efficient at producing rain. For San Antonio, just a 30% chance today, 94 your high temperature. We'll see quite a bit of cloud cover. We're seeing that now. Mostly cloudy to partly cloudy skies. 81 degrees at the airport, 81 Stinson, up to 80 at Kelly as well. South-southeasterly winds. And looking at the satellite picture, you can see the clouds that are tracking through, and then we've got some high clouds that'll be shifting in from the west too. 79 Bernie Stage, 79 New Braunfels, 77 in Seguin, 84 Kennedy, 83 down there in Cotulla. Here's the big picture. We've got a little area of low pressure out in West Texas. That's helping to create the rain there. Some unsettled weather across parts of Oklahoma and North Texas. And then we have what's left of Fred. That's producing a lot of rain. And there are some tornado watch boxes out ahead of that. We typically see that with tropical systems. They can sometimes produce some spin-ups there. So some very active weather across parts of Georgia and the Carolinas. We've got Fred that'll fall apart. We've got Henri, which is out in the Atlantic. This will probably stay a tropical storm, but produce some high surf for Bermuda. And then, of course, Tropical Storm Grace, which is looking a little bit better this morning with some deep thunderstorm activity, what looks to be over the center. Winds are at 45 miles per hour, gusting to 50. This is moving west at 16 miles per hour. It still does not pose a threat to us. It will move across the Yucatan, nearly a hurricane, I think, at that point, once it moves past Cancun, and then moving towards central Mexico by the weekend. It stays well south of Texas, and that keeps a lot of the effects away from us. We may see a little bit of extra cloud cover this weekend, but that would be just about it, I think. 30% chance of rain today, tonight, tomorrow. Best chances to our north and west, and then rain chances fall off after that. Looks like we'll see a pretty quiet weekend, and it will get toasty, especially as we head into next week, guys.
All right, we'll prepare for that. Thank you, Justin. It's been 6 months since snow and ice hit Texas, leading to the collapse of the Texas power grid.
Tonight, we're in a KSAT special presentation that examines exactly what happened during the storm and the fallout from it. Myra Arthur and Dylan Collier, with a preview.
It is a week that Texans will never forget. Millions left in the dark when snow and ice hit the state. The power grid taking a big hit ever since. In this special, we're taking a look at what got us to that point during that storm and the big questions, some of which have been answered, some have not in the months since then.
And a big part of this is what were the public utilities doing? What was their preparation for this storm, what happened during the storm, and how are they responding to, as you mentioned, millions of people across the state, hundreds of thousands of customers at any given time in the San Antonio area that were forced to deal with not only power outages, but sub-freezing temperatures that caused a lot of people, unfortunately, to freeze to death in their homes.
And I know that you, the defenders, you all have been looking through over 2,000 pages of emails, trying to piece together what CPS was doing during that storm and has been doing ever since. And we do some exploration and some explaining here as well, explaining exactly what the role of ERCOT is in Texas. What would making changes so that we don't find ourselves in this situation in the future look like? And also, we have our weather team involved here as well, putting this weather event into perspective, talking about, was this unprecedented? Is this something we will see again? The short answer is yes.
Right.
So that's a big reason why we are taking those big questions, whether it be from the legislature to CPS Energy, trying to get answers about what will prevent this situation from playing out again for millions.
This hour-long, first of its kind KSAT Explains Defenders collaboration begins at 9 p.m. tonight, both on air and online.
Myra Dillon, thank you. Right now, it's 9:50, about 81 degrees.
A home worth over $1.5 million just hit the market here in San Antonio. A tour after the break.
I bought it. I just want to show it off a little bit. So stay tuned.
All right.
It's a neighborhood landmark that's also full of inspiration. I'm Katrina Weber. The story behind this mural tomorrow on GMSA.
A quick look outside at the roads with TransGuide. There's looking at I-10 and Frio, and I-10 and Probant. Things are moving smoothly right now.
And the sun has popped out in a few spots here you see on TransGuide, but we're watching some heavier rain well to our north and west, but that's where it should stay for the most part. I think we'll see a little better chance of some showers and storms in the hill country and maybe a pop-up shower storm here in San Antonio. Otherwise, it's status quo, mid-90s today, hot and humid.
Well, I want to show you guys the new place, if you don't mind.
Sure.
I'm going to flip it, so it's already on KSAT.com.
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
We're ready for the invite, Mark.
Yeah, here it is. So check out this $1.7 million estate. I had not heard of this neighborhood before, but it's called the Elm Creek subdivision. It's over Wurzbach Parkway, Lock Hill, Selma area.
Yeah, so this is a 5-bedroom, 5-bathroom home, and it sits in the Elm Creek neighborhood, like Mark said, and it's roughly 5,971 square feet.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Just say 6, right?
Yeah, a
Massive
lot.
panes of glass in the kitchen give unobstructed views of the tree-filled backyard at 5 Killian Court, K-E-L-I-A-N. I think it's Killian Court.
I like that kitchen. It looks very nice. And according to the description of the home on the listing website, the home sits on a greenbelt lot and has a large covered patio and a park-like setting in the backyard.
I wish that room was bigger. You know, I mean, you want a great room to be great, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
I know. Mark, you need to make some modifications on your house.
Understood. Now, most of us, of course, I can't. Whoa,
that was the selling point. Yeah, that was a closet.
Was that big enough, Steph?
Oh gosh, that's like a room. Yes, and there's a covered patio. Oh wow.
So, gotta admit, here amongst our team, we kind of live vicariously sometimes.
Of course.
You know, we want to see these times. Anyway, it's on KSAT.com. Check it out again. Home out there on Wurzbach Parkway at Lock Hill, Selma.
Yeah, I'm going to check out that closet again. Have a great day, guys.